Following portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by Herndon, Coleman, Brading, and McKee.
Welcome to our Legal Expert Forum. This morning we are tackling a topic that's been in the news a lot lately. It is a complicated subject with a lot of information. We want to talk about immigration law. Here to give us some insight is McKenna Cox, an immigration attorney with Herndon, Coleman, Brading, and McKee. And welcome to Daytime.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, certainly this is something we hear a lot about when it comes to immigration law. So as an immigration lawyer, tell me a little bit about your specialty then.
Sure. What I do is I work with people who want to come into the U.S. from abroad. I also work with people who are already in the U.S. and maybe want to stay here longer or adjust their status. And so what I'm working with are both immigrants and non-immigrants.
That brings us to kind of that question of what is the difference then when you're talking about immigrants versus non-immigrants? There's a lot of distinction.
There is. A non-immigrant is someone who wants to come into the United States and stay here for a finite period of time. So they're going to have a date at which they need to leave. Maybe they're coming in to go to college, or they're coming in as a tourist, and then they have to leave by a date certain. A non-immigrant is someone, or excuse me, an immigrant is someone who's looking to come into the United States and stay here for a long period of time, live here for a long period of time, and probably become a legal permanent resident, or sometimes you hear that called a green card holder.
The green card holder. So
Yes.
if someone is not already in the United States, can that person come in without violating any laws?
Absolutely. It's a time-consuming process, and it's not something that's available to every person who wants to do that. But typically someone would go to the consulate in their home country and apply to come in. Some people may just need a tourist visa if they want to come in for a brief period of time. But if you want to come in for longer, or you want to come in to work, you would need a sponsor, whether that be a family member, an employer, a university, to come in, and they would sponsor you personally and financially to come to the U.S. Again, not everybody qualifies for that, but often folks can, and particularly in this area, I see a lot of people who want to come in based on their family relationships, so I can certainly help with that.
So it is definitely a process. What if you have that time period and then you decide you want to stay longer? Things are going really well, you really enjoy it.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
We have folks who either come in initially with some kind of visa and decide they want to stay longer, or we have folks who come in who don't have any visas. Maybe they've come across the border without documents. There are options for folks like that. It's not for everybody. Every case is different, and you would need to talk to an expert to find out what options are available to you, if any. But there's a lot of ways that can happen, and it's too many to go into today. But if you maybe want to come in and you were a victim of a crime in the United States while you were here and you cooperate with law enforcement, we can often find a way for you to stay longer. If you have family members here in the U.S. who are close enough, we can sometimes find a way for you to stay longer. There are some special categories for juveniles who have maybe been abused or abandoned by a parent here in the U.S. who we can help. So there's a lot of options, but I would advise anyone who is looking to stay here longer to talk to me or talk to another immigration expert about your options, because it's so fact specific.
I was going to say, it sounds like there is a process, and I am sure it is a lengthy process with a lot of red tape, but it is possible.
Yes, it is possible, and it can take years, it can take in some cases decades, but it is possible.
All right, well, certainly a lot of information. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We'll give everybody some information. If you would like to learn more about immigration law here in the United States, you can visit them. Their office is right downtown Johnson City. You can also check out the website lawyerfirm.com.